Hi, I'm Paul Feiner.
I'm Pauline Mosley. Welcome.
And it's really great. We have a local resident, Sylvia Emmer, who's just started a new business. And could you tell us a little bit about the business?
Sure. The business actually opened today, and it's called, thank you, we're excited. It's called Woops Macarons and Gifts. It's a French pastry, is the primary product, and there are a couple of other pastries that we sell as well.
And you live in Edgemont?
I do. I live in Edgemont.
And how did you decide to pick the Westchester? Was it a process, looking at different locations?
For me, there wasn't a wide range of location options that I looked at. They had a relationship. Woops Corporate had a relationship with the Westchester, the Simon Properties that owns the Westchester Mall, and we started the conversation, and it was a good fit.
How did you before you picked this company? Did you look at other potential franchises, and how did you make your decision?
I did. I was first. I started with, do I build or buy? I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, a small business owner. I didn't know exactly what was the right path for me if I bought into an already established system, which I ended up doing, or I start something from scratch. And I actually worked with somebody from a franchise kind of, let's call it a matchmaking service. They did quite a few, I did some assessments and intakes, and I had a consultant working with me to help me decide what are my interests, what are my goals, and what would I be happy doing. And through that pretty extensive process, I knew I wanted something either crafts or sweets and treats. And I love these kind of products, and I tried it first, and it is amazing. I landed then through a process of continuing to funnel it through. I ended up with Woops Macarons, and they're headquartered in New York City, and they have quite a presence in Manhattan as well. And Manhattan, they're all over the country, but Manhattan, New Jersey, and Long Island, and now Westchester. So it was actually an advantage for me to be closer to Woops Corporate.
One of the other questions I had is when somebody participates in a franchise, is it sort of like a difficult process from, is it sort of like getting admitted into college where basically they have to talk to you and you may get rejected if you don't answer the questions correctly, or they look at your background. Is it tough?
It wasn't tough for me. It was like any other type of relationship or partnership or this kind of relationship. I had my questions and I was doing my vetting, and they had their questions and they were doing their vetting. So there was a fair amount of meetings and questions and checks. And am I financially able to do something like this? There was a fair amount, but I wouldn't call it difficult at all. I think it was a pretty smooth process. I came from 27 years in corporate HR, and this is a very different path that I wanted to pivot, and this is a very different kind of path.
And is, basically, are there a lot of requirements? Is it like easier to be part of a franchise or starting your own business? Like if you basically decided you wanted to open up a bakery and you found like some bakers who are really good and you opened up at the same store, would have that been much harder to succeed? Yeah,
I do think so. I agree with that. I think that was my fork in the road. Do I buy or do I build? And I decided that because franchise systems are just that. They have systems, they have processes, they have operations. They have done this before and done this successfully before. And I chose to buy into a system that had worked previously, and as opposed to trying to find the bakers, find the location on my own, trying to figure it all out on my own. They're trade-offs.
Right.
They're trade-offs because you have you pay for that knowledge in that system to get into that system, as opposed to figuring out on your own. You may make some mistakes that are costly, and then learn from those mistakes if you're on your own. With this, there's a support system.
I had a question, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Because so many people I come encounter with are anxious to, like you say, pivot from corporate or from home and jump into an entrepreneurial lane.
Yes.
So could you give some advice? First of all, congratulations on doing that and for being a woman doing that, because making these transitions as women, when we have so many other irons in the fire that we're juggling, home and family and all these other obligations, how did you do that? I mean, could you share a little bit of your story of how you did that?
So I've been thinking about this for quite a long time, the pivot. And I didn't find the right path for the pivot or the right time for the pivot until just last year. When I had, speaking of women and moms having a lot of, things going on, juggling a lot of balls, I had my first daughter at the end of 2008. And I really was looking for, I wanted and strongly desired some more autonomy, some more control, and some more flexibility. But as you know, in 2008, during a global economic meltdown, was not really a great time to find that pivot that didn't put at risk, I had a high mortgage and a newborn. And so it wasn't the right time. But I had, had that desire for really a long time. And I needed a few kind of stars to align in order to take this risk financially and personally and professionally. And those stars aligned for me in the fall when we finished. I talked to you about the home renovations. We were on the tail end of the home renovations, and my kids were getting older and more independent, and it was the right time to take on such a venture and put some things at risk, but take some calculated risks. And what I did before in corporate HR was I moved around a bit, but my favorite part of what I used to do was building and leading teams. That was my favorite part. I also coached leaders as part of my role, many of my roles. So I thought I could really transfer that not only interest and passion, but what I thought I was good at, to building strong teams, hiring and building strong teams, so that I could have a really, really good, strong team at the storefront, so to speak, at the retail location, and I can work on the business development stuff.
So in terms of building a business and providing leadership and building a strong team, what are some of the approaches you're going to be taking with the employees that you hire? How are you going to motivate them, and what does it take to be a good employee, and how do you deal with issues that they may have?
Yeah. So first phase in high performing team is hiring the right person or people, training and onboarding, and building that kind of team/family environment. My plan is to have weekly touch bases with all of them, so that the what's going well, what's not, what could be done better kind of check-ins, and also bring them together because they're not all on the same shift. Finding a way, not sure how I'm doing that yet, but I will find a way to bring them all together, because that's when we learn from their real world experiences. How's it going? How could we do things better? And how can we support each other in the business? And leveraging their networks on being brand ambassadors and brand promoters. And really the sky's the limit on this kind of business. The retail and the non-retail side with me.
Are you going to be advertising in papers or on TV or radio?
I
Or is
do
it gonna be
have
word?
some ads running now on, not TV and radio, but on Facebook, Instagram, the low HUD,
Newspaper?
the food and drink or food and
Right.
restaurant
Yes.
reporter.
Right.
We've been chatting. She's going to run an article
Wonderful.
on me, and
That's great.
I just need to get her some pictures. And
Yeah, she's very passionate about food. In fact, I think lowhud.com is becoming almost like food. That's what they're focusing on. You know, what do you think some of the difficulties of the new business could be?
if you think about the recipe for success, the foundational level is people. So what we've been talking about, it's hiring the right profile, the right temperament, the right personality, the right skill set, the right member to complement the brand and the work and the team. And so that's the biggest challenge is getting the right core set of people to work in the business, so I can work on the business.
And what percent of the time will you be actually there in the business, and what percent of the time could you work sort of remotely?
Yeah, working on the business development side. Not 100% sure now because I'm just really starting out, but I would like it to be more of a maybe, this is a guess, more of a 70-30, 60-40, where the lower percentage is when I'm physically at the kiosk location. And the higher percentage is when I'm in the community talking to store managers or corporate HR folks who might be thinking about their next employee gifting opportunity, or just making relationships with the Chamber of Commerce and like really be out there. Some of it could be working from home, but some of it is actually getting out there in the community. We have Regeneron, we have IBM, we have lots of big and medium-sized businesses in Westchester.
Does the Westchester Mall, do they have meetings with all the businesses and strategy meetings on how they could get more people to show up? Do they also provide services to businesses?
The management of the Westchester itself, I'm not aware of that yet.
Yeah, because that's something that I think some of the malls, might want to do is have more, almost make it like have a partnership with all the businesses, so everybody could be working together to get more people into the stores. Because now, I guess malls are not as successful in the country
There's
as
a
they were,
downturn.
say, 10 years ago.
Sure.
But the Westchester, I think, is still very successful.
Still
Very
drawing
active,
in. They have 140 stores, many luxury brands. They have their anchor stores, Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom, and and the Apple store, which is the closest big store next to me. I haven't come across your idea yet. However, I'm early on. I have worked with their marketing team just in the last few days to put some little bits of information on and advertise my grand opening and get me on their website. And wanted me to take pictures so that I can share that. We shared content. They're helping me with ideas on what I can do for my grand opening to draw attention and awareness. So they've been good partners in getting the word out and getting awareness.
That is great. I wish you a lot of luck, and hopefully you'll have a second franchise business, and you'll go to the town of Greenburgh and have it here. We have to fill up some of the vacant stores.
Some more storefronts.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity.